So this is the entire stuff here. So there is artificial intelligence and there is big data. Data is very much critical to artificial intelligence. So this is that cycle that we are seeing, right? Now today we are talking of networking. The phones that we have called 4G phones, the fourth generation communication. The next what you are going to see is 5G phones, which can give you very high speed at your mobile, right? You can see a high definition movie in your mobile phone. That is what 5G is going to enable. But more than that, 5G will become an industrial revolution. You can sit at your home and control the tractors. You can sit at Chennai and do a surgery in, say, in some remote village, say Vishnupuram. I can do a surgery from there. Of course, teaching classes, etc. already with 4G that has started happening. So this is all something. So all this essentially means that a lot more of data will be collected. And so when you get more data, then as you see on the right-hand side, there's a better AI trained product you get. And from there, there'll be more users who will use this. There'll be more revenue. And that means more data scientists and machine learning experts will flourish. And they will generate more application which get more data. And this is the cycle through which the wave 3 and the wave 4 that we are seeing will basically go. Okay. So when you look on the left-hand side, data has two important things. There is data mining and deep learning that you do on this big data. Why you call it big? Because enormous amount of data flows into the system. And this big data actually implies machine learning, while machine learning actually enables these type of big data analytics. And this together will help in solving problems like computer vision, natural language processing, and generative models. And this essentially will help a lot in analytics and business intelligence and statistics. And so this is something. This is the beautiful relationship between artificial intelligence, big data, and the data science as a subject that we see on the left-hand side. So this is the future of AI and how it is going to go, right? So as of today, what are the skills and competencies that we need to build in the real thing? One is this creativity mindset, right? As you see on the left bottom, the ability to create something out of nothing, and design thinking, design mindset, personal brand cultivation. So these type of a mindset should be there. And that is going to be extremely crucial for coming out with innovative applications of artificial intelligence. The next thing is learning how to learn. There is something called self-awareness, right? That's very important. And computational sense making. So you have so many data, and we need to make sense out of that data, right? So that's called computational sense making. And then there's contextualized intelligence. So some intelligence which is based on the context, right? So I have the same sentence at multiple contexts. It means multiple things. So and other things on the artificial intelligence, and typically what they call as blockchains today. Blockchain is nothing but you do a transaction. There are several steps in the transaction. Like you withdraw money from an ATM, there are several steps. Every step should be recorded somewhere, so that if something goes wrong, you can see that record and find out who was responsible for that wrong thing. And this is very important because today when you start making an autonomous system, for example, you have a driverless car, okay? This driverless car meets with an accident. On whom will you put an FIR, right? Is it on the software? Is it on the hardware? It's a driverless car. There's nobody driving that car. Or on the owner of that car, because he's not responsible for that accident. He's sitting on a car made by some company, on the company. So these type of decisions, especially when you have a self-driving car, this is very important. And now many countries, first China, is introducing something called cryptocurrency, right? It's not a currency that you see on the hand or your bank passbook. It is a cryptocurrency. And when you deal with cryptocurrency, everything is virtual, right? So you are virtually rich. It's virtually large amount of money. And something you lose money or do a transaction, everything has to be maintained. So this blockchain essentially becomes very important there. And another important thing is social intelligence, right? So that should be uh, some amount of courses that teach about social intelligence, right? So when we are planning a curriculum on AI, uh, all these four aspects have to be sort of inculcated in the students. It's not just computer science or blockchain. It is also that, but then we need to go on all these four faculty of learning and try to uh, uh, bring the student in terms with what AI really needs, right? And so these are all the questions that anybody will ask, right? AI, you already use AI. What is new? What will happen if AI comes? Will my privacy get affected? Right? Uh, there is a AI. Everybody says AI. Is it a hype or really there's something inside? How will AI apply to me in daily life? There are a lot of technologies that are growing exponentially. Will AI help this? When will AI actually beat human beings? How do I use AI in business? Ethical aspects. So a driverless car met with an accident. Who is responsible? So, and there are a lot of other ethics. So the car is going in one lane. There is a possibility of an accident. If they cross lane, there is possibility of another accident. If I cause accident number 1, 10 people will die. If I cause accident number 2, 100 people will die. So what is the decision I should take? It's a very important ethical question, right? So, and AI and loneliness. Today, Siri and Alexa can it replace human beings? AI and fear. So because of AI, today they say there are some videos that they are fake videos. Of course, in WhatsApp you get where a swarm of robots can swarm of small flying objects can come and bomb a place, etc. So that type of a fear. So all these questions come in the human mind when we try to address AI. And if you want to actually have an AI for all, which is going to be useful, then we need to strike a balance and get a very balance. All these questions are relevant, and we need to get a balance out of this. And the question is the other from a technology point of view. These are other questions, and also from a common sense point of view. Do brains actually inspire AI? So what you see on the leftmost column, when will that human brain on the left actually become an AI? So how this gap is going to be merged? And will AI kill us or AI carry us? It's AI dystopia or AI utopia, right? And then, of course, the ethical aspect of AI, right? How explainable it is, how fair it is, right? And then can I trust AI for human coexistence? Okay, so these are all some very important questions that still remain unanswered, and it depends on how AI is going to go about. If I have an artificial intelligence driven missile which can hit and kill thousands of people, then AI is dystopia, in my opinion. AI doesn't have that ethics, right? So it all depends upon how intelligent your weapon is compared to the weapon of the opposite country. So these are all some very important and very intriguing questions about AI, right? And this is so the last one is what we call as responsible AI. I'll be winding up with this a couple of slides, right? So the main important thing is that AI needs to be responsible. There's a notion of responsibility, right? It is a tool. It needs to be inherently safe. Who should be responsible of the safety of the execution of the tool? Somebody who is using that tool, can he do that? Can he be made responsible? So this is one question. The next question is design of AI systems, right? So how do you design this? There will be an interdisciplinary effect there are going to be ethical principles involved in this design. Then there's regulation and control. How do you control an AI application? Should AI experts be registered like a doctor, for example? Today, a doctor, there is a license. Should AI people also be registered there? Then transparency. How do you build transparency in AI-based system? how do you build ethics in AI-based system? So ethics dilemma, I just talked about a dilemma case here. And then most importantly, the socio-economic impact of AI. So this is also something that is very, very important. For example, there should not be any discrimination. And so there should be trust. There should be assess AI against societal values, right? And then there are de-skilling and loss of knowledge that needs to be reskilled, and you have to build knowledge. So if you want to build a responsible AI infrastructure, then all these things come into place. But when you look at these five important things, like the six important things: the responsibility, design, regulation and control, transparency, ethics, and socio-economic impact, you find a lot more of non-computer science contribution to the growth of AI. And that is where we still say that AI is not just computer science, but AI is going to be a big revolution involving multidisciplinary people who come into place. For example, if you take the Robert Bosch Center for Data Science and AI in IIT Madras, we have faculty from at least 11 of the 16 departments who are participating in solving jointly some problem related to artificial intelligence. So that is the interdisciplinary nature. And we do have a lot more of humanities and philosophical people. So if you look at some of the AI committees across the world, there are philosophers inside that. So that is very, very important. So this is the need for responsible AI. So if somebody today studies language, Tamil, very nicely, still he will have a major role to play in the AI revolution. It is not that they have to study Python and then only they can become an AI expert. A very good Tamil scholar can become a very good Sanskrit scholar, can become an AI expert. So a very good photographer today can become an AI expert, because if you look at the decision between a good photo and a bad photo, there are many people, very less population who can distinguish between a good photo and a bad photo, and who can actually get many more interesting things. So a good musician today will become a very important contributor to AI development down the line. So every discipline will have a role, and that discipline has to be nurtured, right? So if there is a kid who sings very well, encourage singing rather than putting them to a Python course, because that singing will essentially, he or she will play a better role in AI than being a Python programmer. So that is what I want to tell the parents, that AI essentially means also studying your languages, your humanities, your social science, social studies course very, very well. Okay. Now, the last slide I have here is there is a speed of AI implementation across the world. It is going at very high speed. There is a study on AI impact on society, and slowly we are seeing AI giving good impact on the society. There are certain competitive advantages already seen by adopting AI. And there are shortage of knowledgeable workers and AI evangelists, and that is very important today. And this knowledgeable workers spawn from different domains, like your linguistic, your languages, etc. Then there is AI expertise itself, and then people have to allay some of the misconceptions about AI. There are legal implications in ethical development and deployment. So slowly we will see even our law colleges bringing in AI inside their ambit. And then there is a lot of opportunities for private plus general public plus government to collaborate to solve multiple problems. So these are all some of the needs, and this is how the priorities will automatically fall in place for when we look at AI for all. So with this, I end my talk. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I think I am on time. You give me 1 hour. I think I've just hit that. Thank you very much.